Hi, Jenny.
Hello. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah. We're just going to run with it.
Just run with it.
Did we get it?
Just run with it. I hope everyone's super great today. I see so many people on. It's great to have you all back.
Thanks, Michael.
And Chuck is here.
I am here.
Chuck is here.
You can flip over. So we're having some technical difficulties, but they're really not technical difficulties
No.
because I did it.
No, it's a Chuck difficulty.
Yeah, it's a Chuck difficulty. But, so Adam, I know Adam did not like the idea, but The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Just because you don't know how to love doesn't mean.
I still don't know how to love. I'm 34 years old and haven't
He was born
learned to
without a
love.
soul. But it's okay because we're going to build one today.
Oh,
How to build a soul.
So I was thinking, people are like, why would you want to do the 5 love languages? And I thought, Jenny, because we can.
Because we can.
We can do whatever we want.
Hey.
And that being the case, I was kind of thinking, if you're not good at home, you're not good at work.
No.
And I think, and for those of you guys out there that are saying, well, why? And because, let me just jump back. This book is about, and I guess I'm going to really jump ahead.
Okay.
But it starts out talking about how, there's that period of being in love. Mm-hmm. And in that period of in love, it's 2 years. They say you're in love for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, it's over. And then at that point, you have to make a decision. The number one decision is, do I want to just take off, and try again, or do we get it? Or do I want to, try to make it work? And so, but have you ever seen those people that have been married like 6, 7, 8 times? I mean, I knew one guy that was married 10 times. And it's because as soon as the in love portion wore off, they would move on. And I knew I had other friends like that as well. So that being the case, it's just really important that you know that even if you are in a relationship, you're not in a relationship, it's key to understand the way your mom loves you, the way your dad loved you, the way you love them back, the way your siblings love you, how to communicate with them, how to communicate. I mean, and I don't want to say clients, but even clients have their own way of communication that might tie into it.
Yeah.
Have you read the book?
No.
You've never read the 5 love languages?
No.
Oh, Jeremy's gonna be lucky. So, and it's basically not just married people, but single. It's got value to all humans. So,
Okay.
Anyways, and people, I don't know how many people out there have read it, but hopefully you guys are going to participate because
Okay, good. Yeah, it can't be all about
really
me.
nice. And by the way, I'm just looking. How many of you guys have read the 5 love languages out there? Sherry Keene says she loves it. Elizabeth hasn't. All right, so good. All right, I like it. Duffy's read it. All right, so basically it just says that there are a number of ways to express. Is it weird? It's weird. Look at me. I'm talking about love and stuff. It's great. To express love with a love language, and it's only limited by your imagination. But it kind of talks about it as if, like, if you speak Chinese and I speak English, a lot of times the problems in relationships, whether it's siblings or spouses or your significant other, is that we don't speak and understand the same language. Michael, can you check this out real quick? And so that being the case, we have to learn to communicate in that way. So with feelings and things like that. So I thought it was, and so it's going to make me a little uncomfortable talking about some of this stuff. But you know what? I'm going to move through it.
No,
Thanks.
we're going to be great. It's going to be great. I think it's really important.
All right. So,
We're human beings.
So now here's the thing is your emotional language, the way that you communicate on a love language is going to be different than Jeremy's.
For sure.
Completely different. And the question is, do you know which one you are? Okay, and then do you know which one he is?
No, I need to work out.
Well, we're going to define what they are
Oh,
today.
God, help me.
We're going to define what they are today.
I hope he's not on.
So we have to just be willing to learn our spouse's primary language or significant others or parents, like I said, whoever. So if you're single out there, I don't want this to think like, oh my God, this doesn't apply to me.
Oh, I think it applies to them even more.
Yeah, so it's just an effective communication. So we tend to speak our primary love language and become confused when our significant other does not understand what we are communicating. Okay, because you're trying to say something. And have you ever had those little misfire communications when like they're trying to be nice or do this or that and you're getting mad at them or whatever it may be? It's because you are speaking different languages than them. So you have to discover the 5 basic love languages and understand them on their own.
Okay.
So I was going to go to the table of contents and just read them real quick because we're only going to be hitting the first 2 today.
Okay, good.
But number 1 is words of affirmation.
Okay.
Number 2 is quality time. Number 3 is receiving gifts. Number 4 is acts of service.
Yeah.
And number 5 is physical touch.
I need them all.
You need
I'm
them all.
very broken.
But,
I need it all.
But 1 or 2 of them is going to be more important than the other to you.
Yes, and completely different to the person you're in a relationship with.
Correct. So let me say that again. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Okay? So now if we are talking about your clients and things like that, leave the fifth one, the physical touch, out. Okay.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Probably? Okay.
Probably. So we can't rely on our native tongue, right, if our spouse doesn't understand it. So this whole book is about 100% keeping what's called your love tank full. So that's the number one thing. And it talks about what happens when you don't keep your love tank full, how to keep it full, what kind of fuel to use, all that sort of stuff. And we know how powerful it is, love itself, right? I mean, every book, every magazine, every play, every movie, every show, like you get those little feelings and you see those things, oh, I hope they end up together. You know, even back when we were reading Eat That Frog about the guy who was wandering across the bar to go try to, see that girl. And you guys all wanted to know, well, what was the what happened? What was
We're so invested and we still don't know.
Right. And we never did. So that being the case, and the other thing too is that when it talks about the power of, of love and all love languages, is like people will climb mountains, they'll cross deserts, they'll cross seas, they'll go through hardships, they'll give up their fortunes, they'll, take mental torture, mental anguish, and so when we're talking about love, we don't mean like I love my mom or, I love hot dogs, right? We're talking
love
about
lamb.
What's that?
I love lamp.
You love lamb?
Lamp. Remember?
Oh, lamp.
No?
Anybody?
Anybody? Thank you.
Michael got it. And I was thinking about that too. It's like look at all the things that we do to get love, and then look at all the things that we do to be loved, right? So the emotional need for love. So this book starts when you come down from the high of being in love.
Okay, when the tickle in your belly isn't there every single time, they start to annoy you a little bit.
Yes, all of a sudden, like in the new relationship phase, when they say you're in love, like you have to be with them all the time.
24/7.
You think they're the greatest, most amazing thing in the world. Like, oh my God, I can't believe God put somebody on the earth just for me. Just this, they're perfect. Their jokes are funny. They're this, they're that. And then after a little bit of time, you start to realize like, I think I've heard that before. And so this starts at the point when the in love piece starts to wear off.
Okay.
Where I don't want to say lust, but when all that stuff starts to wear off. And as it moved into this, and again, he's a counselor. And as a counselor, marriage counselor, so he's been on the inside of so many different relationships. And so many, even the counselor I went to, like when I got divorced and stuff, like she has seen and heard so many different things.
Yeah.
So he just took the culmination of everything he could and put it in here. So, and he talked about how a man told him at the beginning when he came in and sat with him, he said, what good is the house? What good is the cars? What good is a place at the beach? Or any of it if your wife doesn't love you or your significant other doesn't love you, or, so I thought that was pretty significant. And, then, I guess we can talk about whatever we want, or maybe he ignores you all day and then he's like, hey, let's jump in the sack.
Exactly.
And you're like, what?
No.
And you're like, I hate it when he does that. And it's not for any other reason than he's not filling your emotional tank.
Right.
And it's just the way that it is,
and
right?
I think it takes a person a while to understand that, your significant other to understand. You're not going to get that unless you're helping me with everything else in the world, Yeah. You have to fill my tank.
That's right. Fill your tank. So that's
do my dishes.
Do my dishes. Right. So it says, that basically something in our nature cries out to be loved by somebody else. That's the way it is.
Okay.
No, it could be your spouse, it could be kids, it could be whatever. A lot of people feel it in a lot of different ways. But and how a lot of times being by yourself, and I know I dealt with this, after the divorce too. Isolation is devastating to the human psyche. Wait, no fair. I'm the only one on this Zoom with their spouse.
That's awesome, Brian.
Hey, sorry, Sherry, you're gonna have to log off because we want to hear the truth from Brian. Okay.
Or vice versa.
That's right. You know what? Let's have Brian log off. But isolation, like they say, is devastating to the human psyche, and that's why they consider solitary confinement the cruelest of all punishments.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't survive.
Can you imagine you and I?
No.
Types like ours. And that's why marriage, they say, meets that need. But it can also be elusive. And what about when you start reaching that point when you don't feel you are fulfilling each other's needs anymore?
It's awful.
And that's the purpose of the book. And the key is just keeping that emotional love tank full. And whatever the status of your marriage, though, by the way, no matter how good it is, everybody out there, or your relationships, it can always be better.
Yes.
Always, no matter how great.
Yes.
And what's funny is a lot of people, on the outside, it's not what they look like on the inside.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm just chuckling because literally 2 days ago, Jeremy's like, our life would be so much easier if you really stopped just trying to please me and literally said what you really want. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. And then like there was 2 lemonades, and he goes, which one do you want? I said, I want the pink one. He went, like, it shocked him that I actually said what I wanted. And he's like, damn it, I wanted the pink one.
He wanted the pink one? Oh my gosh.
But we've been together 23 years. To some, that's hardly anything. But
Right.
it's always ever changing and growing,
Right.
and learning each other's love language.
Right, which is what we're going to get to. So,
Okay.
And Sonia, I see is on the call too. And here's what I know for sure. Sonia, I'm going to beep you in for a minute because I know the answer to this question I'm about to ask you. But when you're dealing with people's business coaching, when you're looking at their careers, when you're looking at taking them to the next level, the moves they need to make, are you finding that they're paralyzed when they are not in a good position at home?
Yes, either 2 things happen. They aren't able to focus on what they need to at work. They're all over the place, or they escape at work and they're at work 24/7. They never have downtime, and because they just can't go home. So it kind of works both ways.
That's interesting because I know, like, usually when I would get messed up, like, I'd have to go home and try to figure things out or do whatever before I could function. But there are workaholics, huh? People that go the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, they stay away from the home because it's so unpleasant, and they use it as an excuse. You know, I'm so busy at work, I need to be there. They stay late, they go early, and it's just an escape because it's so unhappy at home.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds about right,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So in terms of, one of the stories that he talks about in here, he talks about falling in love and what does it mean and that whole experience of going through it, which, everybody has. And it's, he talks about this girl named Rachel who is 36, and she had come to see him over the years, when he shared relationships, things, and she comes in one day and she's had no appointment and she just showed up on him, and he's like, what in the world, And she's like, I just have some really good news. I'm getting married. And he's like, oh my God, congratulations. Well, tell me, how long have you known him? Well, for 3 weeks. And he's like, oh, 3 weeks. Okay. And basically he said that he's seen that so many times in so many different ways, even though it sometimes can be a little bit longer, of course, but how people kind of enter experiences and they get themselves into these situations where they're just so in love and this person is great and they're amazing. Kind of what we saw with the blinders in terms of, like, you don't see past this because right now you're just so excited to have that person in front of you. And then he talks about a peak and how, like, when you are dating or you're falling in love or whatever, you peak and you hit that highest point of being in love. And it can happen fast. And when it does, that's when you're thinking of them nonstop. You're holding hands, you're embracing, you're doing this, you're doing that, all the time. But you see each other at the beginning as perfect without flaws. You are perfect, but the problem is that your family and your friends and the people around you, they see the flaws in the other person because you're so kind of like numb to it, right? So, but most people, when they do see those flaws or whatever, they don't listen.
True.
They're just into that situation of like,
Yeah.
oh, I like that person. So, and
Right.
I'm going to move past this falling in love because I know most people in this call, have a lot of experience with this. But so friends and family see the flaws, but we don't listen. And that's what I was telling you. The average lifespan of a romantic relationship, an in-love relationship, is 2 years. And after 2 years, that's when the quirks set in, the bumps, the mountains, all of those problems.
Blows my mind.
The bills, the in-laws, the children, what to eat, where to go, the laundry, the bathrooms, the shower, all of those sorts of things where you start to realize that, wait a minute, this isn't like the most amazing thing that's going to last forever and I'm going to live in this la-la land, and so during that phase is when you start to come out of it. Yes, you're all excited when you're peaking, right? Like students, their grades fall. People at work, their incomes fall. Like if you are in school, like the War of 1812 just doesn't seem that important.
No.
When you got Stephanie over there waiting for class to be done.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be. So
Right.
incomes drops and, but after, like I said, after the experiences, the love experiences, there's 2 options. You can either have a life of misery, or a lot of people believe this, a life of misery, or try it again with somebody new.
Oh,
No,
jeez.
people believe that.
This is...
What? I'm just telling you what the book says. We're going to move on to better stuff, right?
I don't know how everybody else is feeling. This is really bringing me down.
Some people believe that, some people believe that life of misery or try it again. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I mean, let's look at the stats in Orange County. 78% of all marriages end in divorce.
It's kind of like leasing a car. Once you get tired of it after 2 years.
Yeah, so many miles put on it.
So
Yeah.
many miles
Hey,
put on
it's
it.
more about the miles, not about the years.
I told Nathan, I'm like, once you're 30, man, I got to trade you in.
All right.
Ouch.
I know, right? Wow. So that's just how some people, but, and what's funny is divorce rates on second marriages are even higher.
Yeah,
So I told you what it was on the first,
Yeah.
and the second is even higher, and then the third is even higher.
Oof.
So really you start reaching, some astronomical figures. But that's just kind of the way it is. But it says that true love cannot begin, though, truly, until the in-love experience has run its course. And then love becomes a choice. See, I'm getting positive now.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then
Okay.
love becomes a choice, so, and when your significant other's love tank is full and he or she feels secure in your love, the whole world looks bright. And that's when I believe, and just from my experience, that when things are good at home, when things are firing all cylinders, that's when you are at your highest level of potential.
Yes.
And so they say behind every good man is a great woman, or a great woman is a great man, So basically when you have that support, the world is your oyster.
It's true.
And when you don't, it's not. And when it's empty, the world is can be dark and dreary sometimes when you are in the midst of battles or whatever.
Yeah.
You agree with that,
Sure.
Sonia? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. In real estate, real estate is hard on marriages because we get so focused on our clients and we can use it as we need to work, this sort of thing, and we kind of forget about the family life. So it's interesting to see when both spouses are understanding the career of a real estate person and they're on board, you usually see the agent really take off because they have the support of not only their spouse, but their family, their children. They understand there's busy times, there's slow times, and it's pretty fun to see when that comes together.
True story. So, all right, so you ready for the first love language?
Yep.
Okay, words of appreciation.
Okay.
That's number one. And I want you guys to be thinking if this applies to yourself or your significant other. So number one is words of affirmation. And it starts out with the Mark Twain quote.
Okay.
And it says, I can live for 2 months on a good compliment.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. And it's referring to, of course, verbal compliments and words of appreciation. So, and here's some examples. If your significant other is saying this, you look really sharp in that suit. Or you look incredible in that dress. Or, you know what, thanks for getting the babysitter lined up tonight. I want you to know I don't take things like that for granted, and I appreciate you.
Huge stuff.
Right? So that's some ideas on how words of affirmation work. There's a story that he talks about painting the bedroom. She was trying to get her husband to paint a bedroom. And no matter how hard she tried, he would not do it. There you are, sitting on the computer, doing this, doing that, when I want you to paint that bedroom. And he doesn't do it, and he doesn't do it, and he doesn't do it. And he says, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out from your significant other, what are they good at? Okay, so like if we were to list out like Jeremy right now, all right, what is Jeremy good at? Give me a couple.
Planning.
Okay.
Making sure we're safe, making sure we're financially secure. That's his love language.
That's his love language. Okay, safety and security. So Gary Chapman here told her, I want you to never bring up painting the bedroom again. What I want you to do is I want you to do nothing but pay him compliments about what he is good at. And so she's like, well, what does that have to do with painting the bedroom? She goes, you cannot mention painting the bedroom, and all I want you to do is talk about all the things he's good at. I really appreciate you always taking out the garbage. I really appreciate you doing this, doing that, doing the other. And when she came back in 3 weeks, she showered him with one compliment a day about something that he does well. And when she came back 3 weeks later, he had done the painting without her ever even mentioning it.
Okay. The only thing I keep thinking, and tell me what you think, why does she need him to paint it? Why doesn't she just paint it? I don't get it. Right?
Amen.
Look at
Amen.
Isabel. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Why would
All
you,
the girls,
why,
look at 'em.
why?
Yeah.
I don't get
You're a
it.
strong, independent woman. You don't need no
I
man.
don't need no man. I want a man. I don't need him. I want it. But do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get where he's going with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
But also, you and Jeremy would both be like, pay someone to do it. I'm not painting the bath, right?
Maybe. Okay, so that's one example. Here's
I get
another
it.
example. A lady named Allison. She always wanted to be a writer. And when she was in college, she submitted some articles and got them denied and got a kind of a really bad rejection slip. She ended up marrying her husband. Her husband really didn't know much about her desire to want to be a writer someday. Raised their kids. And through counseling and stuff, he overheard that she wanted to be a writer. And so she was in the office and he was working, and he saw some of the articles that she had written that were out, some current writings. So he walked out in the living room and he basically said to her, and this is after the kids are raised, and finally, and the husband found one of the articles and he said, I just have to tell you, I just read one of your articles and this is absolutely amazing.
Aww.
Like, I can't believe how well they're written. I could visually see the images of everything you were talking about. The storyline was amazing. It was so great to read. And so she was holding a reading book at the time, and she closed her book, and he just said, I just thought I would let you know you're amazing, And then he goes back into the office, and the next thing you know, she is writing articles, and she submits them and gets them submitted, and actually became a pretty well-known writer in the magazine world. So, us as the significant others too, we have to know what they're interested in and support those things.
That's true.
Because a lot of times, we have to be that encourager. And encouragement requires empathy, right? And us seeing the world from our spouse's perspective, right?
And you don't have to understand it.
No.
You don't have to get it.
I know. I mean, I know. I care. I'm with you. How can I help?
That's good.
That's
good.
his 4-1. She says, I know. I care.
Okay.
I'm with you. How can I help? Poor Brian. Like, he can't even steal any of this because he's going to go,
I know.
They said that in the book today. And, Sherry's going to be yelling at him because he's going to try to use some of this. And she's going to be like, I was on the call.
I was on the call. Don't even try. Get over yourself.
So basically, a loving spouse, and this is what we were talking about, or significant other, or even a parent, or a mother, father, whatever, can supply and be the important catalyst in really helping people get done what they want to get done. And I've also heard things like, Einstein's wife was the actual genius.
That is cool.
He was just a mouthpiece, But you got to have that support behind you to go do the things you want to do. And I like what Sonia said, especially in this business. Because we've seen people fail because of the significant other, and we've seen them succeed because of the significant other. And I mean, look at Lauren Murphy.
That's all I keep thinking about.
Lauren Murphy, Jennifer Murphy's husband.
He is just the silent hero.
What's that song? Oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want a cheerleader, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the cool part, right? So, but you do have to put yourself in his or her shoes, and understand why they feel the way they do. And then it talks a little bit about regrets in the past and all that sort of stuff. And so in the words of affirmation section, it says that shit happens.
Yeah.
And we can't erase the past.
Ooh.
And we can acknowledge it and we can agree that we were wrong, but we can't change the past. And, with forgiveness and things like that from bad attitudes or things that have been said or things that have been done, intimacy can be restored. But people, according to the book, and I agree with this, people mess up new days by bringing in the failures of yesterday.
Ooh, for sure.
I'm going to say that again. People mess up new days with bringing in the failures of yesterday. I'm guilty of that. I think we all are. You look back and you can even think into the past. Some people, I mean, I had dinner with some people the other night. 20 years ago, they still talk about some dude that she dated like 23 years ago, and he's so hung up on it. It's 23 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's true.
Adam, what's that goofy smile on your face over there? What?
No, I sometimes when I get in arguments with Nance, he's like, stop bringing up things from the past. I'm like, babe, that was last week.
But that's hard. So is last week significant? Can we still talk about last week?
Well, I think they're still learning lessons, right?
Yeah.
But this does use the word yesterday. So live today.
Yes.
Live today free from the failures of yesterday.
Yesterday.
So I have 24 hours.
No, you don't even have
issue.
that. You get upset for 20 minutes and get over it. You're a man. You're not supposed to dwell on things. All right. So, anyways, and then he kind of jumps around a little bit, but he does go back to the appreciation thing and needing to be appreciated. And it's so funny because all these books you read, even the love languages, ties back into how to win friends and influence people. And it talks about the deepest human need is the need to feel appreciated. And that goes for Isabel, and that goes for Sheila, and that goes for Elizabeth, and that goes for Brian, and that goes for you, and that goes for me and Michael. And like, being appreciated is everything.
It is.
The minute you stop appreciating somebody, even if it's a spouse or, your broker,
kid.
whatever. I mean, anybody,
Yeah.
then life gets tough. And one of the suggestions that he makes, and I think you guys should all do this one, you'll like this one, affirm your spouse and the positive things that they do in front of others. Publicly honor them when you're out having dinner or whatever.
He'd be
You know
like,
what?
He'd be like, what are you doing? What's happening?
I just got to tell you, Jeremy
He would see right through it.
how much I appreciate like how well he takes care of it. This is a good man, by the way, guys. He takes care of things. He makes me feel safe, secure, manages the money, does all that sort of stuff. And I just want to say I love you. I'm doing it publicly because I was told to do that at the Monday Motivation.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think like most, like he would not dig that.
Really? Are
No,
you sure?
he would not dig that.
Are you sure?
I'm 1,000,000% sure. What about, do you guys?
You have to be
what do you guys
sneaky
think?
about it.
You got to be sneaky, but you got to be stealthy.
Yeah.
Stealthy?
All right. Well, it's just a thought.
Maybe,
Sonia, what do you think?
I'm wrong. Sonia?
Do you talk about Richard in front of other people with Richard there? In a good way. I mean, I've seen the other way.
Well, there's a lot of teasing and there's a lot of laughter. But I think you can do it where it doesn't embarrass them. And you don't want to do it all the time because then it becomes mundane. But once in a while, if you can throw something in there, I think it does help. Absolutely.
So let's
Yeah,
all
like
think about doing
organic.
that. But
Yeah.
Jenny, let's not talk people out of doing that.
No,
Let's
you're right. You're right. I'm
Consider
sorry.
affirming your spouse in front of others publicly and saying something really nice about him. It's going to do nothing but score you points.
This is true. You're right.
know
I
what?
didn't mean to be negative.
See, Elizabeth
is
Mato
true.
says, I feel appreciated when I hear you mention me. Thank you, Chuck, so much for every. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? But that's really it. And we
Yeah.
appreciate you being on this call. And we know, Elizabeth, you're going to go do something good today and say something publicly in front of someone else or
Yeah.
whatever, whoever it may be. So thank you for saying that. Okay, so here's an exercise. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
For those of you guys that want to smack your spouse right now, because hey, everybody's at different phases,
This is true. Oh,
right? Some people are
preach.
at the peak, at the top of the mountain, and
Yeah.
some people are like, I'm going to kill Nance tonight.
I'm going to kill him.
Right, Adam? So,
gonna kill him.
so that being the question, here we go. Here's the exercise.
Okay.
Write a list of your significant other's positive traits.
I love this.
That's it.
Okay.
Write it down. Like, what are the 5 things about Nance? What are the 5 things about Jeremy?
Mm-hmm.
What are the 5 things about Sherry, Brian? The 5 things about, Richard, Sonia. What are they? Because even when you want to kill them, there's still good things that they do right, and we need to focus on those things and realize that now once I've listed those things out, you want to pay them compliments and appreciate them with those things. It suggests like 1 a day.
Okay, I can do this.
So for example, if you say, you know what, I haven't told Jeremy, in the comfort of your own home,
Yeah.
Jeremy, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you making us feel safe and secure and always taking care of the finances. Like, it means everything to me.
Yeah.
And you're so good at it, and I love you for it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, when
How's
it's
it gonna
secure, that
feel?
was good.
How's it
That
going to
was
feel?
good.
So I like
That
that.
was good.
Okay, so that's words of,
I like you.
okay, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I think words of
Yeah.
affirmation is pretty real. Now,
No, it's good.
now that's one of the languages.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2 is quality time. Okay.
See, that's his. That would be, he wants me to
figuring
spend
it out.
time with him.
Okay, but,
Yeah.
and here's going to be hard for you, the section I'm going to read right now. Quality time does not mean sitting there and watching Netflix with
It's
them.
true, it does not. I know, bastards.
Or watching that's not it, Adam. They're not going to score any points with that.
It's true, it's
not
not.
HBO,
It's
it's
just so
not Hulu.
efficient, you
It's
know?
not Apple TV. No, it's not real.
You're right.
You know,
You're right.
So put your devices away.
He complains about this too.
I'll bet you, Adam, you sit there with your phone and ignore him all night long.
All night.
I wouldn't do a thing like that.
Uh-huh.
Because
But
he's talking to Michael and I all night long. So we know, and Elmer.
guess what? They don't need your quality time.
Michael does, or Nance does get jealous of the gens because he's like, oh, you make all the time in the world to text them, but you can't send me a text. I'm like, babe.
So individual attention is quality time.
Yes,
Again.
yes.
And put our devices away.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool, and I will tell you, like, at dinner when, somebody's phone is in their purse. Tristan McGowan. I'm getting in my motivation on my way to Idaho. I love it.
Yay,
Tristan McGowan went back
Tristan.
to college today, back to Boise State. Awesome, Tristan. Basically, put your phone away when you're having dinner. It's easy to do.
Is it Chuck? Do you do that? Huh? Is it Chuck?
Well, it's why I got rid of my Apple Watch.
Pot
true.
and kettle.
I mean, so go ahead and somebody text Jenny right now
Yeah.
and watch her. She will not be able to read it.
I've ignored 4 so far.
you
You're
haven't
already
even
counting them.
you haven't even silenced your phone.
I know.
It's been going off the whole time.
Well, that's pretty
No,
funny.
but seriously, I think this is huge advice.
True.
And
Yes.
I really think it's huge for the person saying it.
It's true.
Like when we're talking to you. See? 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 He doesn't pay attention.
I just wanted to see how you like it. All
I
right?
know. I
All
want
right.
it every day with you.
Good.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
te-
So
we're teasing,
anyways, and by the way, these love languages, and by the way, for your kids or your grandkids or whatever, no joke, putting your phone away when you're with them is the same thing.
It's so important.
And I just got a text, which is what I was reading, somebody basically just saying that it doesn't just apply to your spouse. If you're giving quality time to your mom, and I'm guilty of that too, I'll be talking to my mom, hey, I've done it. We all do.
Yeah, you're right.
You just got to put them away. But it's hard in real estate.
No, it
Could
is
be a buyer,
because
seller,
it could be $10,000. It could be a $10,000 text.
I know. What do you think, Sonia? Put the phone away? Ignore them?
Well, that is a hard one because I'm having a hard time right now putting it away. But it is important when you're out one-on-one with a dinner. I always tell people we're not doctors, we're not brain surgeons. So you can have a couple of hours with your spouse, with your children, that it's strictly one-on-one, and that's valuable to the family, and that's worth more than the $10,000 text in reality.
You're right.
Ooh,
You're right,
you just got called down, Jen.
No, it's true. I love it. It's so
that, Adam?
true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
I know. I was thinking about it, and one thing I do have to admit, I was married for a long time. I was in a relationship for a long time. 20, 28 years, whatever it may have been. But I do have to tell you that I believe that the key was date nights. And I think to stay together that long, I think spending a Thursday night with your, or whatever it may be, just 100% that specific attention to that one person is so valuable. Because you get to say like, hey, remember me? Especially for the people out there that have kids and all that sort of stuff. Like, you get so overwhelmed with the world that you forget to pay attention to you.
It's so true. And I know so many people on here are like in it right now with the kids all the time. And some people raising, their nieces and nephews and grandkids. It's hard to put that significant other first.
One of the things that it says too is like, even though you spend a lot of time together, because a lot of people spend a lot of time together, but you still have to schedule out, even when you spend that kind of time together, schedule out time for quality time.
Yeah.
Where you put the phone away, where you do whatever, even if TV. And let me tell you, dating a millennial, and getting them to put their phone away. Yeah. But
I wouldn't know.
But the whole point being that like you still have to carve out that time and say, hey, these 2 hours for us at dinner, we're putting the phone away.
That's so good. I love that.
Just a thought, and
That's
then you
can
have a glass of wine and tell the truth.
It's so true. That's this is a quick story, really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeremy's grandma passed, and we were all at the house after the service, and his grandpa sat many of us married couples down and said, what you guys need to do is have a glass of wine at night, because that's really when you start talking about your day. You don't just go, oh, it's fine, it's fine. Now, of course, we don't every night because, you can tell.
Was he a raging alcoholic?
No, he was not.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, but yeah, it's one of those things. You have to take the time, or at least know how to open up your heart and be able to speak. You don't have to drink.
Well, even that one glass of wine does help you open up and loosen up. So good advice.
Yeah, that was.
And I just saw this, and I think this is great. Tara just said that her and Wes like to play cards together.
Oh, and you lucky girl.
And I don't know if it was Sonia or I know my mom, like her and my stepdad, who've been together forever, 30 plus years. They play backgammon.
I love backgammon.
Or Yahtzee or whatever. You know what I mean? But like that's what they do all the time together. And it's pretty funny. It's just their quality time.
I love it.
So if your mate's language is quality time, they just want to be with you. They just want to spend time with you, and they want it to be uninterrupted time. And when they say, I hate your job, they don't hate your job. They hate the fact that there's so little coming from you right now that I have to blame it somewhere, and I'm going to blame it on that career.
That's good.
And by doing so, it's really a plea to say, I want more of your time and attention. They don't hate your job.
No, you're right.
They hate that you're not giving them enough time or attention. So this is the next exercise that it suggests. Let's make another list.
I didn't even write down the first list.
The first list was to list out all the positive traits. But that's words of affirmation. And then one a day, you're going to pay them a compliment on the things that you appreciate about them. I want you to suggest it for a couple of months.
Okay.
Would be great. Sonia, what do you think of this stuff? It's got value for business, right?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. There's so many things you can say about it. One thing I wanted to say about the date night, it's something that I encourage in coaching. And I actually have them take a picture and then send me the picture that they're on date like for the accountability, and then put the phones away.
That's good.
I love it.
it's really important that you do reconnect as a couple. You're not, the CEO of work. You're not the parent. You become a couple again as lovers, as friends, whatever. It's really, really very important.
And Brian just said balance, right, Coach?
Yes,
that's another
balance.
one of the keys,
Absolutely.
right? Which is true. I mean,
So true.
when you start getting out of balance and the scales start to change, by the way, just so you know, if you haven't seen it, Brian, Sherry's admitting that she's guilty. See,
Yes.
good things, Brian.
Sherry, I've talked to your spouse about that a couple of times, so
Oh.
I'm glad you're here to hear it.
Wow, looks like we're about ready to start a session. Let's do it. Get him. So it suggests let's make another list of things that are important to your significant other, is what it suggests. So it might be, you like to go hiking. You always wanted to go stay in the mountains. And this is you too, guys. You can list out the things that you want to do and have these discussions, on the other hand, with your spouse. When you go out to your dinner with the uninterrupted phone and have a glass of wine and spend that time together. It could be, I just want one night talking without TV. I want to play games with the grandkids.
That just sounds absolutely ridiculous.
You'll be okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about
Jenny,
right
you
now.
can
How does
do
it
it.
even?
The door's right there, Miss.
What does that even look like? I don't even understand.
Oh, gosh.
I know it's pathetic. It's pathetic. I know.
It's
I'm
fine.
sorry to interrupt, but it's true. I have issues.
With TV?
Yes.
The first step is admitting. Yeah.
The first step is
Yeah,
admitting.
she's on her way.
No problem.
Sonia, can we start a counseling session? When you're done with the Keens, can we move on to Jenny?
I know.
Yes, absolutely. You'll be fun, Jenny.
So playing games with the kids, I thought this was cool because
Yeah.
everybody's different. A picnic,
Yeah.
a walk, family vacation. That is good quality time, by the way.
Yes.
Family vacation.
Where the
Wow.
phones don't work.
Yeah.
That's a true vacation.
Yeah. I mean,
Have someone covering your business.
It really is. It really is. So what things would you list out of things that you like to do?
That I like to do. This is where it's really funny. I love to play games. Like, I'm so jealous right now of Tara and Wes. So jealous.
Playing cards?
Because Jeremy's not a game player. So when he plays a game, that is huge. It's a huge deal.
Right. Well, this talks about that.
Yeah.
This says that one of the exercises, and I'm jumping ahead and I shouldn't do this.
It's okay.
One of the exercises that we should do is if you know that your significant other is into something, try to take some form of an active interest. And it even says if your significant other is a man and he loves USC football, just learn a little something
Yep.
about it, as hard as it is.
And then you may enjoy it too.
You may look at you with the
Look
Rams.
at me. I know.
Now you did not grow up a football fan.
No, not at all. No, my
But now
dad.
you and Jeremy, where'd you go Saturday?
Yeah, the football game.
The Ram game.
Yeah.
You have season tickets now.
We do.
And you decided that you wanted to take an interest in that,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean,
That's true.
that's pretty cool. And that means that you're down for supporting what interests him.
Yes.
So if you just said to us that you said that Jeremy's is quality time, and he's doing what he loves, and he's bringing you with him, you're hitting it.
That's true.
Even
That's
car
true.
time and driving is quality time.
Oh,
if you
it
think about
really is. It is.
So I like that one. Elise says she plays cards every night. Vicki Carpenter said that her best quality time was hikes with Tom.
Aww.
Hikes are great, right? Stopping and checking out the view. Denise Hernandez says that we have one cup of coffee together every morning and one happy hour every evening, even if it's only a glass of water.
Oh, that's so good, Denise. And they do date night too. Denise does. Denise
I
Hernandez.
love that.
Yeah.
I love
You guys
that.
are killing it.
I know.
And we have a lot to learn from these other people too.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So,
Yeah.
so just listing out all the things that you want to do, and of course asking them to list out everything they want to do. And here's the suggestion. Of course, if they're not crazy, if it's things like going for a hike and this and that, every 1 week in a month for a year, take the list of the 12 things that they want to do. Let's say it's the weekend in the mountains, or let's say it's hiking, or let's say it's a picnic out in Santa Rosa, or whatever it may be, and just schedule them in so that you get those quality times throughout the year so that they can do what they like. You're going to have a happy spouse. What?
No, I know. He likes to walk. I don't like to walk. Like this morning I'm leaving for work and he's on his walk because he's working swing shifts and I'm like, oh God, I know I need to be doing that with him because that would mean the world to him.
How about you try it?
I'll try it more.
Do a trade.
Yeah.
You trade a walk for a night of shoots and ladders or whatever.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
Now,
sense.
see, he will play games with the babies, though. He will play Chutes and Ladders.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
that's important.
Right.
I'll
Well,
take
and
that.
that's one of the things that it suggests is that it says quality time is playing games with your kids or playing games with your grandkids. It is truly quality time. And if it's you two and the grandkids,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, basically, quality conversation too, is
Yeah.
what it's about. So sympathetic dialogue with uninterrupted context, right? Sympathetic dialogue with uninterrupted context. Like that's one of the things that's really cool for me now is like Ryan's off in Afghanistan, Trevor's back in college. So when it's just you and that other person, it is really great to just have the two of you, to be able to converse and have those deep quality conversations without interruptions. That
Totally
is
different, huh?
so great. And so the difference is that words of affirmation focus on what we're saying,
Okay.
and quality conversation focuses on what we're hearing.
Okay.
So so with Jeremy, for example, you said that this is it, quality time, period. What's Richard's? Is Richard's either one of those, Sonia?
Yeah, quality time is very high on his list. I had to laugh when you said that sometimes the spouse gets angry at your work. When I was there in Marietta with you or Tom and, killing it in real estate, he said, we need to talk one time. And he set a time and I showed up and he said, something's got to change because he wasn't getting the quality time that he needed. And that was a red flag for me big time. And that's where I decided it was really important, those date nights and that quality time. Going for those walks, those hikes are really important. So absolutely, quality time is probably his highest one.
Okay. All right. Good. And then I don't know, Brian. Either one of those two, or either one of those two Sherry's? Quality time or words of affirmation, or there's more. There's acts of service and there's physical and all that stuff. But do you know which one hers is?
Yeah, it's acts of service.
Really?
Yeah.
Do things for me, and we'll get along great.
He's acts of service. I'm words of affirmation.
Oh, that's
See?
awesome.
I'm also quality time.
And also quality time.
That's good.
Wrong, Brian.
I'm definitely
I love
active
this,
service.
Sherry. Oh, I love this, Sherry.
Write that down, Brian.
I told you this wasn't fair. I told you this was not fair.
The funny part about it is, but I would say this, by knowing what yours is and by knowing what hers or his
Yeah.
is, that's awesome in itself. You know what I mean? I mean, that's awesome in itself. Like when I go through this, I can list out exactly like every single one in order of exactly what Holly's are, for example. I
Yeah.
can list them all out, boom, 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 all the way down the list. So, but anyway, so here's the next thing. Learning to listen may be as difficult as learning a foreign language. We talked about that. But learning, but listening is something we have to do to communicate love, which is really interesting, right? Listening is what we have to do to communicate love. So it talked about this guy, he said one of the most impactful sessions he's ever had is when he came in and a guy sat down and he goes, I'm an idiot. He goes, I'm a fool. He goes, this is a client that walks in the first meeting. He goes, very rich, very successful man. And he says, I blew it and I lost everything. I am a fool. And he didn't even need to go through and find out why, because his came down to not listening. And he knew it right out of the gate. He lost his wife, he lost his family, he lost everything because he never listened. And he said every time she would come in and she would bitch about work or bitch about people at work or bitch about a deal or bitch about situations, he would constantly interrupt her and try to fix it.
Right.
Well, you need to go in there and you need to tell your
Right.
boss that they need to blah, 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 blah. And they need to pay you more and they need to do this. And then the next day he would wait, come home, so did you do it?
Yep.
That's not what she wanted. She wanted somebody to just listen to her and understand her. And he said, and I did it over and over and over. And she finally said, and that's why they got divorced, that you don't listen. Ugh. And I have tried to talk to you so many times, and all you do is criticize me about it and do this and that when all I need is, and when I say Mr. Fix It, I'm referring to men are from Mars, women are from Venus,
Right.
Mr. Fix It. But I thought that was a good one.
And some women are like that as well. It's because I was going to bring up women are from Venus and Mars thing, but it's definitely just a personality trait. It has Some are
Margaret's a
fixers.
Mr. Fix-It.
She is. So don't tell her anything unless you want a solution.
Yeah, and she's
Yeah.
going to get to work on it, and then she's
Yeah.
going to put you on her list,
Yes.
and she's going to check it off until it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so here are some ways to make sure that you are communicating well during your quality time,
Okay.
Brian, which is Sherry's.
Okay.
Totally kidding. So here it is. Here are the 5, or actually there's more than 5, I believe, ways for proper communication. Number 1, maintain eye contact when your spouse is talking. I think that's a big one. Maintain eye contact when your spouse is talking. Number 2, don't listen to your spouse and do something else at the same time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Here's Adam. Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh. You know. So don't listen to your spouse and do something else at the same time. Number 3, don't as much listen to what they're saying. Listen for feelings. It says, what emotion is your spouse experiencing when they're trying to have that heart-to-heart conversation with you? Don't listen to, I thought that was interesting. The words are less important than the feeling that they're trying to portray.
Yeah, that's good.
Number 4 is observing body language. Are their fists clenched? Are their arms crossed? Are they leaning away? Are they leaning in? You know, I mean, and of course that's basic sales 101 for all of us. We should all be pretty good at that. But observing the body language. And here's the one that killed that guy's marriage. Number 5, refuse to interrupt. Let them talk and don't interrupt. And how frustrating is it when you're trying to get a point across, no matter who it is, even if it's a client or another agent or whatever, you're trying to get a point across and they're constantly interrupting you, and you feel like you can never, ever get there. So again, eye contact, don't do something else at the same time, look for feelings, watch their body language, refuse to interrupt.
I love it.
Next is learning to talk. So
Okay.
first we talked about listening. Now we got to learn to talk to each other. A lot of people will say this, and again, this is going to be hard for you and I to deal with. Okay, Jenny,
I'm ready.
but I wish he would talk more. I wish she would talk more. But what we don't realize is that a lot of people grew up in homes where their thoughts and feelings were squelched. You know what I mean? And I was talking to somebody who's on this call who's driving right now that was telling me, you know, my dad's never given me a hug. He's never told me that he loved me. And it's not his style, and he just doesn't operate that way. You know, it never really had that quality time, so that's how he grew up. So a lot of times when you're looking at your significant other and you want to judge them and they're not this or they're not that, it's because of the background that they have is what Chapman says.
Totally.
So learning to talk, and it says when you are talking to people, speak with feelings, not just with words, which I thought was interesting. So whatever you're feeling at that time, you know, I gave an example of like somebody tailgating you. I'm really upset. I feel anxiety and this and that, but I thought it was an interesting example. But just different things that happen to you, speak in feelings, not in words. Interesting, right?
Yeah,
That was it. And then I thought this was great, because this is a good one, because it makes me think of some people that I know. Jenny,
Okay.
Jenny, ready?
Yeah.
The next section is called The Dead Sea versus the Babbling Brook.
Ooh. Oh.
Okay?
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have read the book. This is a cool section. The Dead Sea versus the Babbling Brook. So if you're a Dead Sea, you are a laid-back personality. You're an observer. You're somebody that doesn't talk much. You're somebody that people just talk and talk and talk, and you just kind of listen. You feel anxious. You feel anxieties in having long, drawn-out conversations or in big crowds or whatever. So it's a personality type. It's a Dead Sea. And then there's the Babbling Brook. Do you know any Babbling Brooks, Jenny?
No, not at all. I don't know.
A Babbling Brook is that person that talks and talks and talks and talks and talks.
Yeah.
And so the Dead Sea is a great listener, and the Babbling Brook is a great conversation starter. So the Babbling Brook loves the Dead Sea because they have somebody to listen to them. The Dead Sea loves the Babbling Brook because they have somebody that will start conversations and engage, and there's no awkwardness there.
Right.
So it suggests in relationships, one's a Dead Sea and the other's a Babbling Brook.
100%. Do you agree?
And if
I
you
agree.
go out on a date, for example, you'll have a wonderful evening,
Yeah.
because some people just like to listen. That was hard for me to accept, you know, because
No. Yeah.
you want to listen to people, but some people, they don't mind you talking. They like it. I mean,
I know. I'm wondering how many people on here that's their relationships are like even with their siblings. if one's one's the Dead Sea and one's the.
Is Jeremy the Dead Sea? Mm-hmm. And that's not a negative.
Most of the time,
you say Dead Sea and it sounds negative.
No, most of the time, like out and about, yes. But once.
Yeah, one-on-one, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sheila Wyatt says people can be both, and that's true.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Sheila.
I'm a Dead Sea for sure.
Are you really?
Yeah, Nathan will just blah, 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 blah,
And you don't mind, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
What about Tom and Ruth? Is Tom the Babbling Brook and Ruth the Dead Sea, Michael?
He's here to talk for himself. So.
Oh, yeah!
Sonia, well, I would agree. Like Sonia and Richard, I would assume that Richard is probably the Dead Sea, and you are the
Yes.
Babbling Brook, Sonia.
Yeah, most definitely.
And then let's see, Mike Duffy.
Okay, Chuck, what do you think? What would you think?
I think that you would be the Babbling Brook and she would be the Dead Sea, but I could see it being the opposite too. Which is it?
We both like to talk.
Oh, the couple of Babbling Brooks.
Yeah.
You constantly interrupting each other?
Yeah.
At least you know it. At least you know it. I like that. And I think about Leanne Murray says, Scott and I are, I'm assuming you and Scott, 25 years of marriage, are Babbling Brooks and Dead Seas. When I look at like the Duffys, Mike Duffy talks, Kim's more the stoic type. You know.
This is his book, too. I remember when I first met him.
Mike Duffy?
Yeah, he talked about...
The 5 love languages?
Yeah.
Are you
yeah.
Is that true, Mike? Did you, has this book helped you?
Absolutely. It is fantastic. I got a chance to meet Dr. Smalley once. He's the funniest guy in the world. And I definitely am the Babbling Brook, but yeah, we were actually just talking offline here and confirming that we know each other's love languages. So it was kind of cool.
What is your love language, Mike?
So my primary love language is words of affirmation. My backup love language is physical touch. And Kim's primary love language is quality time, and her backup is acts of service.
Good
I
stuff.
like that. Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Well, that's cool. And let's keep charging. So, anyways, Babbling Brook will get the conversation started. The Dead Sea will listen. So it's kind of a good deal. So one of the things that it is important to find here, though, for the ultimate quality time, Jenny, includes activities in which you both have an interest.
Yes.
So if there's such thing, like the Ram game on Saturday, you get so excited, and I guarantee he does too, right? When you guys are going to your Ram tickets and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's amazing, you know. I mean, so, and I know, some people love to hike together.
Together, yeah.
Some people like to travel. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's our thing. I mean, love to travel. Like a weekend away is like, just the two is the best, you know?
Yeah.
Away from the TV. That's one thing about going away for the weekend, Jenny.
That's true. We never watch TV.
Nobody flips on the TV
Nope,
when you're in
we
Palm
don't.
Springs for the weekend.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Or Vegas, never.
How about a thought? That's a thought.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Even an overnighter, you know, somewhere fun. Okay, so quality time ideas. Like I mentioned, designate a time even if you're together all the time. Ask your spouse, like we talked about, to list out 5 activities or significant other and make plans to do one each month for the next 5 months. And hey, if you're not in a relationship, do it with a good friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they can list out, hey, this month we're going to do my thing, next month we're going to do your thing. This is a good one too. Send pics to your significant other of something happening that day. Not that kind of pic.
I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know.
All right, send pictures to your significant other of something happening that day. It's like, oh my gosh, I just saw this. It reminds me of you. Check this out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, Holly will send me a selfie. Just thinking about you at work today. You know, I mean, that stuff is quality time. Choose something they're interested in and try to get interested. We talked about that. Plan weekend getaways, focus on relaxing together. I think that's great. Make time to share things that happen on both sides of your day. Hey, what was the, you know, and one of the things I will tell you is I had some really good friends, and they were neighbors. I would go sit at their house, and they would always ask this question: what was the highlight of your day? And it is such a great exercise, guys. If you were to sit down with the family, or even just your significant other, and say, Jenny, what was the highlight of your day? And you'd be surprised what they'll say. You know, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but so-and-so brought me lunch and this and that, or, you know what, I got a call from this person, and they said this, so what's the highlight? One of the other ones was, and I don't know, maybe somebody can help me if they remember what these are. The other one was, what did you learn today? What was the most, you know, impactful thing that you learned today? And it was like 4 questions, and you just move around the group, and it's so powerful and it's so quality. No TV, none of that stuff, just, you know, just fun.
Yeah.
The other thing is doing chores together. You know, and I will tell you, cleaning the kitchen together, I love it.
It's
The
way
radio
better.
going and listen to something cool. So that's basically where we're at.
No, we're
a little
good.
bit
That was
early.
great.
But I'm really excited because your love language is coming up. Love language number 3 is receiving gifts.
Oh.
No, but that is the next one.
Oh.
That is the next one. So we're going to be talking about that one. By the way, I won't be here next week. Remember, you're on your own next week, right?
No, we have NATO next week.
Oh,
So
NATO's next week, okay.
Next week, you can go back and watch a repeat one from before.
Okay, good. So next week is that. But I do want to mention one thing, and I know we have a lot of Cold Banker peeps on this call, and it's really important. As you guys have probably seen in Buzz, our escrow manager, unfortunately, and I do not like to end like this, but I think everybody needs to know. Our escrow manager lost her spouse this weekend over at LaRue. Wasn't sure if you guys were aware, unfortunately, from COVID. And it was a rough run, guys. It was rough. And so, whatever you've got going on with LaRue, and just know those girls are a mess. And they're doing everything they can, though, to make sure that your filers are solid. But just please be aware and conscientious of what's going on over there. And obviously, there's a GoFundMe and a few other things going on. If you want any information, you can reach out to us. Yeah, it was rough.
It was.
Rough. So,
yeah.
and
send some love out there.
Yeah, send some love out there. And the lesson and all that as we're reading these love languages is it happens. Things happen. Acknowledge the people that are around you, your kids, your family, your significant others, your parents, because it was proof positive that things happen. And be safe, because it's very real. And so anyways, I didn't mean to leave off like that, because I know, but it was tough.
No, it was.
It's very tough. But anyways, so that's the love languages, guys. And can I ask for some comments? And I want the truth.
Okay.
You don't need to say anything if you don't feel this way, but how do you feel about moving into things like this that aren't just 100% business, guys?
Oh, we have a thumbs up.
I mean, I'm very
I
curious.
love it, Chuck.
I mean, cool. I mean, it's Monday motivation. Like Adam was yelling at me this morning, what does this have to do with business? And I said, Adam, this is Monday motivation, dude. It's not, sales mastery on Wednesdays or Fire Up Fridays. It's
right.
It's about all trying to be better. And, Jenny and I love bringing you guys stuff like this.
This is my favorite.
Also, that's not how I sound.
Well, a little bit.
So thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. Kim says she loves it.
Oh,
So.
yay.
All right. So then, but if anybody thinks like we're getting off base on this sort of stuff, just let us know and we'll get back to business. But we just thought it would be nice to bring you something new today. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, all right, well, go have a great week. Take good care of your parents, your kids, your significant other.
Your best friends.
Bring
your
some of
aunts,
this love
uncles.
languages in, your best friends. And anything else?
No, I just love you all. Thank you all so much for being on here. It means the world to us.
All right, guys. And like Adam always says, if you can share it, if you can get it out there, it's much appreciated, guys. So we will see you soon. Get out there, make it a great week. If you guys need anything, let us know.
Yeah.
And we appreciate each and every one of you guys. So thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.